LSD Trip Report 2nd of January 2019. I love every single one of you. Whoever I may have hurt along the way, please forgive me. There is a strobe light in your mind. Let the light take flight to the lighthouse in the sky, which is a beacon for an even flightier phenomenon on a higher dimension, in a higher dimension. The lighthouse keeper, the keeper of esoteric ecstasies, the divine androgyne, male on one side, female on the other, two serpents coiling around the same spine, both kissing, seducing each other, and biting, fighting each other forever. So it goes. The timeless mysteries go on and on, as they have always done so. Erotic, psychedelic, synesthetic. After all the pain, after all that suffering, divine pleasure will reign. Forever, an immortality of divine, sensuous, and erotic luxury. And all of this would happen in the flickering strobe light in one man's eye. So pleasurable, it's too pleasurable. Too pleasurable to be pleasurable. So pleasurable it almost hurts. So ecstatic you want to cry out. But to everyone else around you, it would sound like you were in great pain. A trip of a lifetime, a life-saving trip for a boy who feels like a new man. Life-saving acid trip. Keep the tick-tocking, flashing strobe light in your mind flashing as long as possible. Tick-tock, in sync, out of sync. I love you. I love every single one of you. I love every single one of you forever. My love for you all is eternal. And these words, these feelings, these promises, they were all spoken and felt within the blink of an eye, or the flashing of the strobe light, as quickly as that. What did that one particularly bright strobe flash reveal? Frozen as a moment in time, the eternal love for all that was forever promised into immortality, ironically stuck like a mosquito in amber, unmoving. And that flashing of the strobe is what caused the eye to blink anyway. No matter what orientation you are, straight, gay, bisexual, trans, the psychedelic experience beats sex, solo or coupled with another, or many others, hands down, pun intended. Psychedelics are sexier than sex. They feel more erotic than sex. One of the best experiences of my life was listening to CV313's Satosphere recordings. That music was the masculine energy penetrating me, the willing feminine energy, listener-recipient. Synesthetic tendrils, tentacles, wires, circuits jolted and coiled throughout me, around me, and just about everywhere else. It was absolutely glorious how the visuals from the music videos I was watching on YouTube bled out of my laptop screen, waving, spiraling, coiling in tendril-like and serpentine motions. All of the Lights by Kanye West and Rihanna, Pumped Up Kicks by Foster the People, Disparate Youth by Santigold, A$AP Rocky, LSD, and A$AP Rocky featuring Moby, Porcelain by Moby, The Beach, Frank Brett Schneider's visuals, 21st Century Schizoid Man by King Crimson, and the live performance in Japan in 2015. Flashing Lights by Kanye West again, Midnight City by M83, Electric Feel by MGMT, the scene from Akira Tetsuo's End, Timbaland and Nelly and Justin Timberlake, and Sleepy Girls by Yagya, which is one of my favourites. Headphones on, eye mask on, lying back under my duvet. I still could not help but raise my arms into the air and make them dance, twist, seductively and sensually, as if a dancing spirit, or spirits, came inside me to get those arms moving in the typical belly dancer, Indian courtesan style, but just with my arms, with the occasional sway and gyration of hips beneath the duvet, of course. I also felt the every person phenomenon again, as if black mamas, South and North American natives, Southeast Asians, and elderly Far East Asians passed through me, and I could see myself as them, along with their friends and family, in my mind's own mirror. My dancing arms influenced my visuals, which was cool. At the beginning I thought, not many closed eye visuals. Then, some diamond shapes. Then, fractals, coils, serpentines. Then, queenly beings, magisterial ladies of the throne, beautiful empresses and she-pharaohs, of lands pyramidal and just geometric in general, of course. The she-pharaoh, she was cycloptic at one point. Writing this has stimulated a memory of a closed-eye visual, a long stick holding holographic three-dimensional geometries, pyramids, overlapping spheres. I felt immense gratitude for the opportunity to experience this again. Sex is erotic, but psychedelics triumph over sex at its own domain. Or perhaps the two are connected anyway. Perhaps? No, they are. Sex is psychedelic, and psychedelic drugs are erotic. So a combination of both is a hedonic Mount Everest for many people. For me, it's psychedelics for now. Again, the thought entered my mind. This kind of pleasure, is this similar to what women feel with skilled lovers, or is this even better than that? If so, then I am very grateful. I am reminded of an online article titled "Coming Out as Psychedelic." Inspired by that, coupled with my last trip and the ones before that, I believe there is room for discussion concerning an identity of people who feel out of favour with interhuman sexual relationships and would rather, if given the opportunity, fulfill their sensual desires with psychedelic substances. Such people may be celibate, asexual, physically unable to consummate with another person at all. This leaves a gaping hole in some of these people's lives. Holes which can go from pitch black to multicoloured and more with the aid of these special sacraments. I transcended the need to have sex because I became sex. The music was the man, and I, the listener, was the woman, the receiver, the one being pleasured the most. Also noteworthy was a strong horny feeling in my sex centre, and the amount of semen retention I practiced beforehand probably contributed to this. Men and women are amazing, and I love the way the sexual dynamics flow between them. But I have nothing to prove to either of them, because I am feeling really full-body orgasmic myself, which I think helped me empathise with women and admire men. It was just so nice to feel again, after a period of what felt like stimulus starvation. Sex can sometimes be a disappointment, so I don't bother sometimes, which leaves me feeling empty, so this was a hedonic godsend. To transcend what it usually means to be male, and to just instead lie back and let the chemical pleasure, comfort, pamper and massage me. I sighed and I moaned, but I knew I could have done both much, much harder, to the level of shouting and roaring in rapturous ecstasy. I did get the impression that this pleasure was for me and me alone, and to overshare this would be most disrespectful to those who bestowed upon me an ecstasy that was, like I said, for me and me alone. You could say, for my third eye only. When listening to music through high-quality headphones during these experiences, the term pleasure dome really does come to mind. One's cranium expands to the size of a huge planetarium. Filling the acoustic space of this huge planetarium are synesthetic fireworks of sound, colour, zooming light fireworks and multiplying like bursting fireworks as the sounds and colours echo around and around in all directions. Below the planetarium, circuits, rods, beams and tracks shoot like lasers, whilst others zigzag like a subway map. And whilst pondering the nature of synesthesia during this experience, I even felt sensations in my mouth as images of chocolate and confectionery flashed by. During one particularly intense part of the come-up and the peak, a period of squirming and huffing and puffing, I could not help but be reminded of the artist in the black and white film from the 1950s where he is administered LSD. Of course, the one particular segment of that document I am referring to is where he himself is properly peaking, breathing intensely, perhaps on the verge of tears, as I thought I may have been during my own, what I call, scrunch. Thank goodness I had no awful trip-sitter of a doctor clapping in my face. During the trip, candy flipping crossed my mind. I thought, how redundant. when it already feels this good. Either that, or it would be too overstimulating for me. Sex and psychedelics are two sides of the same coin, the coin being eros, or eroticism. I thought I needed this. I really needed this. It is not nice to be starved of sensation, which I felt like before the trip. Tentacles. Shapes. Snake, serpent, coil, spiral. Tentacles, horn. Horny, seductive Babylonic dancing. Coquettish spirits indeed. The sexual feeling in my sex center, it makes genital rubbing redundant. I lie there squirming, not having to even touch myself down there, or couple with another human being. Could the word suprasexual be applicable? Both sex and psychedelics can really make one feel like a part of this world, this exciting world. I am a man of the world. We are men of the world. I watched Timbaland, Nelly Furtado and Justin Timberlake on YouTube. Nelly looked quite gaunt. JT looked a bit pale and ill, tired, like he had been taking opiates himself. Two coiling snakes, spiraling around your spine, ascending to the throne of your mind. Divine are the rhymes they whisper two at a time. On the path to paradise there will be pandemonium. You must go through hell to get to heaven. O painful ecstasies, pleasurable horrors, two wings of the same bird. This is the cosmic word.